So I've just heard from Sporting Icons that Anthony Joshua is going to be training with Derek James in America. Well, as far as I'm aware, it's just a rumour. He's not saying that for a fact. And immediately I've seen lots of criticism of Anthony Joshua because people are saying he seems confused, he can't make up who to train with, and what have you. And I agree, he is a bit confused as to who he should train with. But this is no issue. Changing your coach all the time, say for each fight, isn't an issue as long as you're not fighting top level opposition. Because Anthony Joshua needs to try things in each fight and see what's working for him. I personally think on a subconscious level, Anthony Joshua is looking for the right environment to bring the best out of him. Whether he realises that or not, I think that's going to help him a lot more than a technical change in his boxing. With that having been said, it's a good thing to try different coaches because each gym brings out a different psychological state and within yourself, and for each fight you need a different psychological state. So, for example, I've trained in a few boxing gyms in my life. If I went to the first ever boxing gym that I trained at, I would train there for a guy that I know I'm going to need to bring a lot of heart to the fight in order to win. Because there I feel like just when I was 12 years old, I was hitting away at a bag, with the dreams of being the best in the world and the greatest of all time. If I went to the one I went to after that when I was a teenager, I would use that for a fight where I need an extremely aggressive mindset, where I need to stamp my authority in a fight. Another gym I trained at recently, I'd go there if I just feel like I need supreme confidence because I felt literally superior to everyone. So this is no problem, Anthony Joshua trying different coaches all the time, as long as he's not fighting sort of top 10 opposition. If he fights people in, say, the top 20, top 25, that would be a better bet for him. And I'm not talking the people in the top 20, 25 who we think will be in the top 10 one day. I'm talking literally the Derek Chisoras of the world, those kind of people. Now, what can Anthony Joshua actually do in terms of technical improvements? In the second Usyk fight, when I was watching it, in the second round, I said he's going to gas out because he's keeping his arms up too much. He needs to keep that right hand a little bit lower and have the left hand down in certain fights. And it would have been useful in the Usyk fight because Usyk, his vision would have been split between the left hand that's down and the right hand that's up. Would have helped him, and Anthony Joshua would have gassed less. He would have been more relaxed. He'd have been able to hit Usyk's elbows and body a lot easier with the jab. Another thing he needs to learn how to do is cut off the ring more effectively and a little bit of lateral movement just to loosen up a little bit. Other than that, it's going to be more psychological. And, look, every great fighter has somebody they can't beat. They have their boogeyman. I think Usyk is his boogeyman. I don't think he can beat them. I don't think he will beat him. He certainly can, but I don't think he will. It doesn't make Anthony Joshua a dreadful fighter. He's still the top 5 in this generation so far. He may well be Tyson Fury. I remember when Cole Froch lost to Andre Ward, a lot of people wrote Cole Froch off as a fighter and thought he had no chance against Lucien Butte. Now, Tyson Fury is much more proven than Lucien Butte, but the same logic applies because Tyson Fury had fought very limited fighters. Deontay Wilder was extremely limited. Same with White, really. He should be retired. His feet are extremely slow. His punch resistance was gone by the time he got to Tyson Fury got to him. Just from the eye test, it looked like Lucien Butte was going to demolish Cole Froch. And let me tell you, pound for pound, Cole Froch has way worse stamina and was way more rigid than Anthony Joshua in terms of things like his balance. It was piss poor. But he went in there and demolished Lucien Butte, and I'd say that's a fight that he should study. he has to accept that he can still beat Tyson Fury. There's really not a whole lot to work on with Anthony Joshua. He's good at shortening his punches, he's got good long range punches. He has to accept he hasn't got the best reflexes in the world in terms of his head movement, so he needs to use his feet more. And that's literally it. There's a really good video on Andre Ward showing why the feet are the first line of defence, and it's quite simple. If you're within punching range and you move your head, you still have a 50% chance of getting hit. If you anticipate it wrong, if you're completely out of range, no such issue whatsoever. So, who do I think would be a good fit for Anthony Joshua? To be honest, I'm not sure, but I would say he should find a good sports psychologist so that he can get the best out of himself, and that's something that I generally recommend to most people. In terms of how far I think Anthony Joshua can go, look, I think he can beat Tyson Fury. I'm not saying he will, but he certainly has the attributes to do it, especially if Tyson Fury starts to slip up and get older. He can still go down as one of the best of this generation. And I think people need to understand that no great fighter is the finished article. You just look at Muhammad Ali. If Muhammad Ali had learned effective inside fighting, now this is controversial because people will say he has Parkinson's, people will say it was caused by the trauma to the head, I don't know. But certainly he wouldn't have had to take the severe amount of head punishment that he took in his comeback, because once his reflexes had deteriorated, his chin is literally what he relied on. He didn't know how to do basic things like put his hands up and bob and weave, slip and all this kind of stuff. He didn't actually know how to do it, and that's why he took so much head punishment. So when people talk about, oh, Anthony Joshua lacks certain things like fundamentals of footwork and all this kind of stuff, it's true, but every great fighter lacks some form of fundamental. Look at Tyson Fury. His hooks are completely straight armed. He can't bring his hooks in. He doesn't know how to shorten up his punches. Alexander Usyk has weaknesses. He doesn't seem to be able to sit on his punches very well. Although he has good head movement and footwork, his reflexes aren't all that great because he still gets hit quite easily. So that's what I have to say on that. And, I hope Anthony Joshua can get the best out of himself so we can see him in lots of good fights. And look, if he can't, then he's still given me years of entertainment. I've enjoyed lots of his fights and he's done well for himself, and that goes for all the guys in the top 5. And yeah, that's all I really have to say on that. Sorry, I'm rambling now. Tell me what you think. Leave a comment, subscribe. I'll catch you next time. Thank you.